Everyone died, except him. That night, the village died. Not slowly, not quietly, but all at once, like the world itself had been torn apart in minutes. Homes burned to the ground. The dirt roads turned into ash and blood. People vanished as if they had never existed. They killed everyone. No mercy. No survivors. Except one, a boy. Hidden beneath broken wood behind a half-burning house, his body trembling violently. He heard everything. Screams cut short, the crackling fire, and worst of all, the cold, hollow sound of metal meeting flesh. Then came the footsteps. Slow, heavy, unhurried. They stopped right above him. In that moment, the distance between life and death was no more than a single breath. He wanted to scream. To run, to disappear, but his body refused to move. So he did the only thing he could. He stopped breathing. 1 second passed, then 2, then 3, and somehow, he was still alive. When the sun rose, it brought no hope, only truth. The village was gone. All that remained were ashes, charred wood, and lifeless bodies beneath a silent gray sky. The boy stepped out, barefoot, walking over what used to be his home. He didn't cry, not because he didn't feel pain, but because the pain had gone far beyond tears. From that day on, he was no longer a child. Years passed. He disappeared from the world of men. No one saw him. No one knew he was alive. He learned to survive in the wild not as a human, but as something forced to adapt or be swallowed whole. He ate whatever he could find, drank from muddy water after the rain, slept in a cold that bit deep into his bones. But hunger and cold were not what stayed with him. Memory did, the fire, the screams. The moment everything was erased, he remembered all of it. Not just with his eyes, but with something deeper. He remembered their voices, their laughter, the way they moved in the dark, like men without regret. Time passed, he grew. But the thing that grew the fastest was the silence in his eyes. He learned how to fight, not to become a hero, but to make sure he would never be a victim again. He learned how to move without sound, how to watch without being seen, and how to wait longer than anyone else ever could. At some point, he stopped asking why he survived, because he already knew the answer. He survived to come back. 20 years later, the world had changed. The men from that night had built lives of their own, families, homes, stories they told others. As if the past had never existed, they believed time had buried everything. They were wrong. One night, one of them disappeared. No trace, no sound, just gone. Then another, then another. Fear began to spread slowly, silently, just like the fire had spread that night. They started watching each other, sleeping with weapons beside them. But the thing that terrified them most was not knowing what they were facing. Only one person knew him. He moved through the darkness like he had never belonged to the light. No rush, no anger, only precision and patience. He didn't kill them right away. He let them feel it, the silence before death, the fear they had. Once planted, one by one, they disappeared, like that night, repeating itself, until only one remained. The leader, an old man, living alone in a wooden house on a hill, where the wind howled so loudly no one stayed for long. He knew no one had to tell him. That night, the rain fell hard. The sound of it swallowed everything else. He sat by the fire, a loaded gun in his hand, his eyes locked on the door. But when he turned, he was already inside. No sound, no warning, just there. Their eyes met. One filled with fear, the other with memory.
Who are you?
The old man whispered. He stepped closer. Slowly, no hesitation. He said softly, his voice almost lost in the rain. A.M. that night. There was no struggle, no scream, only silence, stretching into nothing. The next morning, the house still stood, but inside, no one was alive. He walked away, without looking back. Because there was nothing left to see. By the river, he stopped, The water reflected a face he barely recognized, no longer the bull, and not fully human either. And in that moment, he realized something. Revenge doesn't give you an ending. It turns you into what you once feared. The wind passed, the water trembled, the reflection disappeared, and so did he. Some stories end when the enemy falls, but some only begin after that. If you want to explore stories like this, stay with us.